Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we're going to start a Bad Blood review here. Um, yeah, I guess it's probably the best way to say about this whole PLE. I feel like there's a lot of ups and downs in this PLE that you just don't quite expect. Like, honestly, I think my thing right off the bat is that I overhyped it. Like for sure, I really thought it was going to be like the best PLE this year, other than like WrestleMania, because I think they just had some really good storylines going into it, and I think that might have been part of my issues that I um, just really was not, like I was disappointed because of like how crazy my expectations were, I guess. But I feel like it did deliver in some of those areas, so I can't really be upset with it. And we'll just go by case. I put in some of the other smaller events or like events that were in there because they have to be talked about, and I think that definitely makes the PLE, uh, you know, show off how bad or good it is because of these extra events that happen. So we'll go right off the match with the Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. I had very, very high expectations for this match, and it delivered. It fully delivered everything that it promised. It destroyed each other. Just they had so much blood and just craziness, which we kind of expected. There was just really no way to get around with that, and I think that's good. Like, I'm not a big person of having color like in there, but it's just like if you do it right and you do it in like a feud that just is so crazy that that's what you have to do to make it really put down the point that like this is the last time they ever fight each other. Um, I think it was worth it and definitely worked. I'd put it in the best, which I don't know if that's a good start to the category. That like that is the best match of the card by far. Um, I I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of crazy spots in it. It felt like Drew got really hurt a lot too because he was like the stitches are one thing. Like I think he ended up with 16 stitches, which is just crazy. But that jump he did and landed on the steel stairs. I don't, for whatever reason, do not believe that like that was meant to happen that violently, if it was meant to happen at all. But let's just go into the next match because I think it's weird because it is the best match, so it kind of goes downhill from here. But it's still a enjoyable side because like, look, everybody wanted this as the main event, and I completely agree it should have been the main event, except that we know what happens and who returns in the main event made it happen that it's the final thing. So next up we have Nia and Bailey. Um, Honestly, this was a weird match because I think it was overall like a fun match. Like I don't think there was anything wrong with it. They had some good back and forths. Bailey showed out. Nia Jax definitely showed that she's definitely improved a lot, and decides to be like is a decisive champion. With like the fake cash in, or if she was gonna cash in with Tiffany Stratton, I just feel like it's weird. I just didn't like it as much as it should have been. Like, I'm a big Money in the Bank person. I absolutely love it. um, but it was like one of those things where it's just like they just did it so poorly, and then like she sits up and sees that she's trying to cash in was probably the best moment of the match. But I think overall it just again just didn't work out. And plus it's like interference with Tiffany Stratton that like she was already in the ring, that like just because you have the Money in the Bank doesn't mean that the match should be a non-disqualification match right then and there. It's kind of weird. It's like they're just using it like she could just come down there and help Nia unlimitedly, and nobody's going to be like, oh yeah, that's not a DQ. She's not cashing in, so she definitely hit her with the briefcase and beat her opponent down. But that's fine. I don't know why they were doing that. I'll put it in good. I definitely don't think it was the worst match. Definitely think it could have been improved in certain areas. I feel like they definitely did their job, and I think they had a good match. And being the second match on the card, I think it was perfectly fine for the match that they delivered. It wouldn't be a match that I probably would ever watch again, but I think overall still pretty good. Then we got Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, which is like, you have a crazy feud when you deliver like having like a PLE that has like you guys on it, like the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, like they did so good to be on the card 3 times that they never had a title involved, but they were instantly on the PLE card compared to that they could throw in a random IC match or a US a UC, why am I saying UC? It's USA title, the US title. I don't know why my brain decided to die there, but it did. So like that's good feuding that you can do that, and I think we're gonna get more of these. Um, honestly, we had a lot of interference, which we knew the Judgment Day was going to do, and I just had no there was no reason that Finn Balor should have lost there. I just feel like that was just such a momentum killer for the new Judgment Day Street Trash, whatever you want to call them. I just felt like Damien could have definitely lost the L, especially with the interference, and that he would have had a knife right to be like, "Hey, I want to challenge you again." Now it feels like, well, then what does Damien do? Like, Damien obviously doesn't need to attack Finn Balor anymore. Is that just going to drop the storyline, or are they just going to keep feuding even though it doesn't make any sense anymore? The match itself, I think, was okay. I don't think there was really anything bad with it. I think they definitely showed out. They definitely know that each other pretty much, and they fought each other a lot, and they've obviously been together for a long time too. It's in the same team, so I think they really had some good chemistry out there. But I think overall, it was just a good match. I mean, just it was on the card. I feel like the result kind of messed with that one a lot because if Finn wins, then Priest could have demanded a rematch and then have like Judgment Day barred or whatever. Um, but yeah, that's not what happened. Then we got the announcement from Triple H. Now this is probably the turning point of the PLE for me because I was super hyped. I saw the little velvety bag and I was like, "Oh my god, we got a women's mid card title! I am so pumped for this." I'm thinking video ideas. I'm like doing this, and then I'm like, "Wait, what about if it isn't a women's mid card title?" Because yeah, Raw is going smaller, so they don't really have the time that they're gonna probably develop that division. So, oh, maybe it's another men's mid card title, or they bring back the hardcore title, they bring back the cruiserweight title, they bring back something crazy new that we've never seen before. And then we get this piece of shit. Like we get this goddamn triple crown title, not even triple crown. This baseball. This this freaking this freaking championship. I can't even think straight thinking about it because it's just like, why? You have champion versus champion, which is already a dangerous combination. It is such a dangerous combination because the problem is that when you have two champions face each other, somebody's going to have to take the L, and interference is interference. It doesn't really matter. Like, if there's interference in it, it's just. And cool. Yeah, I want to see Cody versus Gunther. That's a cool dream type match. But what's the point of that? And then you got Liv and Nia Jax on the other side. What is the point of that? There's no way they're going to build up even a rivalry in the 4 weeks. Like, that's the thing. Like, they're going to maybe have one promo where they're on each other's show, and that's it. They gotta, they gotta build up rivalries for all the other divisions, and that puts that card dangerously. Just like those two matches have no stakes, so then they're gonna have to shove all the other titles on the card and get them feuds because what is the point of not having a PLE with no things? And I think they did that with Crown Jewel. Like I think like they had no advertisement for this. I feel like this is something that's not Triple H's creation. It's something that the board is doing or subbing out somebody else is doing because it just does not feel like the right call here. And I can't imagine the backlash on this is going to be even better. I haven't seen a single person like that is a great idea. I think people want to see like them fight, but the belt's also just like a really weird thing to add to it because it's like, do you just hold this on like the king and queen of the ring with the crown? Like they only wore it for a little bit. Like, do they just hold this championship the rest of the year until next Crown Jewel, or they just kind of hold it? Like that just feels weird. I don't like it, especially if this is a year to year thing. I'm not a big fan. I feel like there could be some cool, exciting matches, but I feel like there's just something bad about it. All right, so let's put that just in the bad. I feel like I should put it worse, but the one good thing with it is that we did have Gunther come down and he had a good segment, trash it on Goldberg. That was pretty good. Then Sammy came down and attacked him, and really like my partner said this, and I think it was actually a really good thing because my partner doesn't normally watch like Raw and SmackDown. They just watch the PLEs, and I fill them in between, so they're pretty well versed, but like they don't watch the daily product or like the weekly product, but they get pumped when they see stuff like that because it makes them want to watch it because it was talking about how their matches on Raw and all that. So like they're doing a decent job with that. Like for somebody who is completely fresh watching that gets pumped to maybe watch Raw the next night or on a Monday night, that really does work. Like I think that was the whole point of that is to have Sammy come down there, and it worked out pretty well. So I think that part of that segment definitely saved it, but it still goes into the bad. There's no way that I can make it go higher. I should have probably put the Gunther segment separate so I could give him a better thing. I probably would have put that into good or amazing because it really did do its job of what it was supposed to be there. It made the crowd crazy. It it had like a legend come out. It had like a lot of different stuff, and then wrapped back around to getting to Raw. Plus, it drummed up some interest for maybe a Goldberg Gunther match, which I wouldn't mind seeing. I mean, I feel like Goldberg's gonna take his ass out, like in like physically injury wise, but hey, we don't know. But I'd still want to see it. All right, so the Liv and Rhea match, we got a lot to unpack here. Putting Dom in the cage, amazing idea. Throwback to when he was a kid and they wanted him to do that over the custody match between Eddie and Ray. So I love that. I thought that was a crazy cool idea, crazy throwback. That's all good. I think the match itself, it just felt like Rhea definitely dominated. Liv had some good sparts, but it definitely was like Rhea was all good. And then let's get towards the end because that's where everything kind of hits the fan because Dom falls out, which is, planned. Funny, great, and then Rhea goes to use him as a pinata. I'm cool with that. Like all that was great. But then the botch because I'm pretty sure this is how it was supposed to go. I'm pretty sure Rhea was supposed to leave. The ref was going to go check on Dom. And when Rhea enters the ring or is almost to the ring, Raquel comes out, attacks her, throws her in, throws Liv on her. Then the ref goes out there, counts to three. I do not think that the DQ was supposed to happen. I could be wrong. There could still have been like the refs are, but she came out too soon. You could tell that she came out too soon. The ref was trying to ignore her, but they literally had to like it was right there. So like there was nothing that she could do. So they called it a DQ, and then because like you can't tell me that that's not the plan because Raquel picked up Liv and put her on to Rhea. Like that doesn't seem like that would have been just like a symbolic thing, like they tried to say in the announcement. So yeah, I'm gonna put it at okay. I feel like that was just one of those things. It was just really okay of a match. I know they're pulling out this rivalry for as long as it can be. It's just I'm done with it. I think I'm completely uninvested in this rivalry and just want the champion to either move on or to go to Rhea so they can just get rid of this because it's just not fun, man. It is not fun. And now we already know that we're not going to get a match at Crown Jewel. So like this rivalry is gonna hold all the way to Survivor Series, which again, if they're in the Survivor Series match, which it probably might be, then they're not gonna have a match for the title any longer. So then it's like Royal Rumble, all that area. So we're not seeing the title change until like WrestleMania at this point, and I'm disappointed because there is no other stakes on Monday Night Raw for that title. So it's just completely pointless now. And I think that's going to be bad for the business. Raquel's return called it. She looked good. I mean, that's a good thing. The botch really sucked. The crowd did not have any clue or cared what was going on. So I'm going to put it in bad. It was almost as bad as like when Kairi Sane came back at Crown Jewel last year. Or I forget which PLA it was. Like she came in, was great, but it came out of nowhere because they didn't, the crowd wasn't into it and it just felt a lot worse. So we're going to put it in bad. Next up, we got the main event. Now, this one is interesting because I feel like if you just look at the match itself, I think the match itself was great. Like I don't think there was really anything wrong with it. We had some really good moments. I feel like they do this every once in a while with Cody, especially in tag matches. They like leave him in too long where it looks like he's struggling and all that type of stuff. It's like it's fine. We don't need to know Cody's a badass. Like he's done it. He's wrestled injured. Has done all this. It's fine. Just let him go out there. And that might also have been because they're trying to protect Roman a little bit because um, Roman hadn't wrestled since WrestleMania, so that's quite a long time. The match itself was just great. I feel like I liked everything about it. I think it was about what I expected. I don't think it was the best match on the card by far, but I think there was nothing to really like the minus about it. I don't think it was too overbooked towards the ending. I mean, like they put a lot of stuff in it, but it was like the match was already pretty much done. We didn't have to have the whole match of just you know uh 4v2 type of thing. I think it was amazing. I'm gonna put it in there. Pretty safe to put it in there. Cody kind of is chugging along, putting some decent matches together. But again, this is a non-title match. Next one's a non-title match. We're gonna have a while until we see these titles defended because the heavyweight title wasn't defended here either. I know it's gonna be defended on Raw, but I couldn't see it ever changing on Raw unless it's like Netflix day one Raw. That could happen. Jimmy Uso coming back, we kind of expected. It was great. I think Unhinged Jimmy is always great. I'm gonna put it up in amazing. I like Jimmy Uso a lot. I think the contrasting thing of Jay and Jimmy just being vastly different characters is chef's kiss of like all of WWE right now. And then last but certainly not least, you had The Rock return. He did some weird stuff with his hand. I don't know what he was counting down. Cut a bunch of promos afterwards. I think The Rock's one of those people. If you don't like him or you like him, he's good for business. I'm on the thing is like I like The Rock. Rock was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up, like by far. Is him, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, both of them. I loved each one of them so much. I couldn't care less about pretty much anybody else in the whole organization when I first started watching because of those two were so amazing. When they were allies, enemies, anything you wanted to say, it was great. So I like him being back in the business. I feel like for him in particular that we're setting up Cody versus Rock. I feel like we're gonna get a lot more hopefully time with him and Roman, because I feel like he's going to be disappointed in Roman. And obviously, we saw on Twitter, if you guys have watched, that Kevin Owens turned on Cody Rhodes, which is a brilliant thing. They knew fans would be watching. They didn't even have a film crew out there for it. So, like, that's crazy that they relied so much on such a pivotal thing to a story to just let the fans post it and pass it around. And that's just cool. Like that is a really cool idea. So I'm glad they did that. But back to The Rock, I feel like him coming back is really good. I'm gonna put it in good, just because we don't know where it's going. Honestly, him coming out there and doing nothing didn't. It was great because like he came in, but like it wasn't like it really changed much of anything. We could have had that on a SmackDown, and it wouldn't have been much different because it's just like, yeah, he shut up, cool. But the fun is yet to come because I think we're gonna get a lot more. But yeah, that's been Bad Blood. I think overall, I've been talking to like French Rice, who's part of our community, about the thing. I feel like you could probably put this as a solid 7. It's definitely not the worst PLE of the year. I think it was definitely the most overhyped and disappointing PLE. I still believe whatever the PLE before No Mercy. I can't remember what it is. Was it Bash? I think it might have been Bash. One of them was just way more disappointing. But we've had some really ups and downs this season, so I can't be too upset because I feel like my overhype will always make these PLEs look worse. But like Crown Jewel, I have no hype for it, so like it could go out there and be a banger because I'm just like, that's okay, it's whatever. But yeah, so tell me what you guys think. Put it in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.